Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One time for the one time. Yes, ma'am. Hit boy on the track. And yeah, man, we're back. Coming at you with another Madden 23 franchise, but I'm not going to do Madden 24, right? I was sitting up there arguing with my cousin, trying to explain to him that these Maddens lately, and it's just been like that since PlayStation 4, right? Everybody's complaining about Madden. It's not a good game, all that extra stuff. And you guys have watched my Face of the Franchise videos, right? The bugs that I had to deal with on this game were ridiculous. The constant restarts. I found my workaround, which is sort of a testament to what I think is my greatness. But I just can't remember the last time I went on the internet. And like, look, I go on the internet, I look up the reviews for man. It's just nobody saying anything good about it. So I'm like, what's the point? Right? One of the main reasons why is because right there, Bill Murray, right? He's an actual like Madden. Y'all went out and demanded the exclusive rights to the players, and you don't have all the guys. Like, what's the point of having the exclusive rights if you're not gonna put every player on it? Like this guy, Roy Mbeteka, y'all know his name, right? He's an International Pathway Player Program guy, right? Y'all don't put him on the game. They don't put all the practice squad players on the game. You can only put 12 guys on a practice squad on this game. When in the NFL, you can have 16, and you got to be within the first two seats. It's just kind of crazy. I understand him; he was in the XFL previously, right? But like seriously, like, it's just kind of crazy how Madden has all these little things. Not all bad in my opinion, right? I'm still playing the game, right? But it's just little things like not having all the players that you would find on the website or on Wikipedia on the game because of whatever they feel. They don't feel like undrafted free agents are important until you become like, Stefon Diggs or something, right? So, I'm just not going to do it. I'm sticking to Madden, right? As you see, we got the 2024 rosters, no rookies. We do have a draft class we're going to bring in, right? Now, I'm showing you the Bears. And you see that I've moved teams, right? I moved the Bears to Columbus, Dublin, Bengals, Toronto, but we don't know which team we're picking, right? The Bucks are in Mexico City, right? The Chargers are back in San Diego, right? We don't know what team we're picking, right? And then also Cowboys and OKC, right? Also, we wanted to make sure that we keep the players on their right teams, right? The Jaguars and then trying to break that international market, right? So we decided to just grab every team, right? Put Bill Belichick on the game and move the Raiders back to Oakland, right? And we'll just try to keep the roster sort of the same, right? The franchise settings, right? Every team can relocate. Pretty much, par for the course for me with the franchise settings, right? We want to try to keep the game, the Madden 24 rosters as they are. Return injuries off in the season, right? Throughout the season, because we're going to be simulating, right? So we're going to turn the injuries off throughout the season. We're going to simulate the first two seasons, right? So this is the 2022-20. This is last season, but no rookies from this year. However, the rosters from this year, right? You see, I've turned all the injuries off, as I've already mentioned, right? You guys know me with the dev traits. I don't like dev trait regression, but to offset that, I've turned down the number of desired star dev, but just a little something that I think makes the game more, palatable, more fun to play, right? You see, I got the Bills. It's not my team's not gonna be the Bills. Right? I'm showing you the franchise status from the Bills, but my team is not gonna be the Bills, right? The rookies, right? I got a 2023 draft class. You have Bryce Young. Every rookie moving forward is going to have a normal dev trait, right? I'm not letting rookies come in with a star with higher than the normal. I don't care if you are CJ Stroud, right? Your talent will speak for itself, right? But every rookie coming in will have a normal dev trait with this class and every class moving forward. Big Will Anderson Jr. from Bama, right? This boy had a superstar X factor. I don't know what this dude who made this draft class was talking about, right? But this draft class had like 500 something players in it, and I still couldn't fit all the undrafted because there's be guys coming out of the woodwork during free agents or during the training camp period, right? Now we tried to emulate in the first season with no rookies. It's easy to try and get a couple of guys injured so you can keep, basically every guy on the team, right? Put them on the IR, put the injured guys on the IR. Teams that are over 65 players, right? We tried to get guys injured. I didn't do that. That was incidental, right? Because I wasn't trying to get specific guys. I was just like, whoever gets injured, right? That's all we needed, right? And we tried, and it was easier this season because without the rookies, it's less players, right? But every team right now has like 70 plus players when you include the injury reserve and the practice squad guys to the active rosters, right? So, there's nothing really you can do there. You can try your best to get guys injured, right? The Falcons, this team right here, took me to like week 3 to get people injured. They had like 68 guys. 65 is what we want it to be, right? So you can have enough guys. You can have 65, got 12 guys for the practice squad, 53 for the regular squad, right? And another thing with the practice squad, right? On this game I mentioned, right? You got to have 2 years experience or less. So I had to swap out some of the practice squad guys that were supposed to be on there. Now they got to get promoted to the regular full roster. And guys who are young but are on the roster, some of them had to be demoted to the practice squad, right? And the fact that Madden has not fixed this on 24, right? Because I played the 24 10-hour. The fact that I'm telling my cousin, I'm like, dude, the fact that they have a 10-hour demo of the full game, that should tell you right there that they don't have, people are not buying the game. You on the internet right now, the ratings for Madden are 1.5. Like, people don't want to play the new Madden, right? Checking out the stats, that's the season. Look, Ryan Tannehill, right, had a pretty good year, right? He's getting paid a lot of money, no injuries, so Derrick Henry can rush for 2,000 yards, right? He had a fantastic year, right? Tannehill, he's making like 36 million, right? They did draft Will Levis, right? So, we'll have to see there. Right? D-Hop don't get 1,000 yards receiving, right? I told you, injuries are off. Chris Moore kind of out receives him, if you will. Is kind of weird. That's their second guy, but, don't matter, right? Kirk Cousins, right? In real life, in this season, he's on the last year of his deal, making 36 mil. They get rid of Dalvin Cook, not because he's a bad and running back by committee, yes, but this is a make it or break it year for Cousins, right? There should be no excuse, right? No running back is going to be preventing him from, producing all. It's all about getting the ball to his weapons, right? Jay Jettas and Hawkinson and KJ Osborne, right? So it's all about Cousins getting the ball to his weapons, right? They didn't draft the guy, but they're looking to make it so that Kirk Cousins has no excuses. We either win or lose with you. You either get a big re-extension or not, right? Jordan Love, right? Now the man in Green Bay, right? I watched the season opener for the Bears versus the Packers, right? And I honestly feel like we lost that game on 2 plays. It was the opening drive. We come out, we go for it on 4. No, it's the Packers. They don't have Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but it's still the Packers, right? Like, this team still had, and I was talking about this in my last video with the Bears franchise, right? They still have the great defense, right? The receiving core has speed on top. Look at that. 3 receivers with over 1,000. It's speed on top of speed in this receiving core. The line is a vet, like how Greg Olson was saying. The line is a veteran line. The defense is still intact, right? We come and you look at Justin Fields' numbers, right? We go for it on 4th down. We give Jordan Love's first drive as a starting quarterback a short field right there on the fringes, and then we throw under 2 off where we throw a pick 6, right? 2 unforced errors that was a 14-point swing, and I get what's going on, right? Justin rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, but that was when we were losing, right? You see in this simulation, DJ Moore only get 1,000 yards, right? We were losing with that formula, and I don't know if it's that Justin is just, he's so fast that he has to try to run the ball, but they got to find a way to get him to be more of a pocket passer, right? Getting the number 1 option, right? Or how about this guy, right? Aaron Rodgers, in the New York Jets. It's crazy what happened to him in week 1 after just 4 plays, right? But with this simulation, highly efficient, a little under 4,000 yards, but 41 touchdowns to just 7 picks. That is highly efficient. Exactly what you're looking for in a guy like Aaron Rodgers. You get Dalvin Cook out there in the backfield, over 1,000 yards rushing with 12 touchdowns, right? Not a 1,000-yard receiver, which is probably why Aaron Rodgers didn't get 4,000 yards, but it doesn't matter, right? He still threw 40 something touchdowns, right? You got Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb coming over from the Green Bay Packers, right? Tyler Conklin, Central Michigan tight end, playing pretty well, right? McCole Hardman. I don't know if he's not as high on the depth chart, but he didn't get over Italian, and you want to get him the ball, right? He's got a ton of speed. Dalvin Cook pitching in with over 400 yards in the receiving game, right? So that was fantastic production from everybody in the receiving corps, right? No need for a 1,000-yard guy in the Falcons. I don't know what it is about the Falcons. It's got to be the playbook, right? But every single time we do these simulations, the Falcons quarterback, no matter who it is, has 5,000 some yards, 40 some touchdowns. You throw 40 touchdowns over again. It don't matter how many picks you throw when you throw 40 touchdowns. You could throw 40 and 40. That's still good, right? Just don't do less than 40 touchdowns, right? Every time we do this, like Tyler Algier scores double-digit touchdowns on like 500 or less yards rushing. I don't know what it is in Atlanta. I don't know, right? And they always have like 3 or 4 receivers receiving for like I don't know what it is. It's gotta be the playbook, gotta be the scheme, gotta be the playbook. So, or the game has a love affair or something that they like about Atlanta. I don't know what it is, but clearly there's something going on in Atlanta, and I'm gonna figure it out, right? Pro Bowl, right? Yeah, I was talking about the Bears, their season opener, right? I watched all the games so far for the Bears, right? I just got done. It's just after the blowout loss, right, to the Chiefs. We didn't even score a touchdown in the first half, right? It wasn't as bad as the Dolphins game. As of the time in which I'm recording this video, the Dolphins put up 70 points. It's crazy, right? But I saw the second game of the season for the Bears, played against the Buccaneers, right? And I was looking at the comparison of both Baker Mayfield and Justin Fields, right? Baker came in, he was a #1 overall draft pick. Baker was not he wasn't a #1 guy. I get that Baker won the Heisman, but everybody knew that Baker was not a #1 overall pick. So the Browns picking him, they drafted him too high, right? But I get it, they didn't want him to be not there. He was your guy, so you picked him, right? But then you only give him like what, 4 seasons? Right? You put Odell Beckham, then you get Amari Cooper, and then you ship him out. He bounces around the league to 2 teams for just a season. Now he's in possibly the greatest situation of all. He's got 2 of the top receivers in the league, right? And I'm thinking about Baker, who he was a little bit of a shifty guy in college. He's not the most athletic dude, certainly not at the collegiate or NFL level. He wasn't the most athletic guy, but he did like to scramble and improvise a little bit in the pocket. And that's what we're looking for from Justin, to use his legs to be more of an improviser and extend plays. And it just feels like because Justin is so fast, and everybody's saying like he can beat people to the edge. That's the strength of his game. That's what they drafted him for. So it's like you gotta let him be him. But you would think like, you think about Baker, right? A guy who's not as athletic, who simply put, well, I'm not as fast at this level, so I have to learn how to play the quarterback position, right? I have to learn how to throw people open in this league, right? So I don't really want Justin to get out of his game, because especially with scrambling quarterbacks, they have to be themselves, right? Like when Randall Cunningham, when the criticism on him was he's not a Montana in the year '91, he tried to stay in the pocket and be more of a pat, and he got injured. God forbid. I'm not trying to wish that on Justin. I'm just saying, like, he got injured because he didn't play his style of football. So Justin has to just play his style of football, and they need to get a little bit more creative on the play call for him. I've been saying it since last year. It seriously looks like all they're doing is just sending every receiver on streaks, tight end on a streak crosser, and post drag, and and just, they don't spy, Justin takes off. And when they do spy, well, check down. It's a very simple offense the Bears are running. It's just get everybody downfield defensively and open up a run lane for Justin. He's your running back that can throw. He's your Lamar Jackson. And it's like, yeah, but because he can make throws. Right, we saw it in the Chiefs game. He was making some decent throws. He can make on the money throws. We also have seen some evidence of some bad throws, right? I don't know if there's a certified question on his ability to throw the football. I know there's cause for concern, right? Because in the Buccaneers game, that was just crazy at the end. We were in that game to the very end, and then Shaquille Barrett just made a fantastic play. I mean, picks the ball up at the line of scrimmage right there by the end zone. Then we throw another pick on the ensuing drive after the pick six that, basically lost us or put us down in the first. It was just crazy. That was just a crazy situation. It was freaky. I don't know what you say about that, right? The Bucks defense, right? It's Chris Godwin, right? The Bucks defense and their offense, right? They get rid of Leonard Fournette, so now it's all on Baker to just, dish the ball to his playmakers, right? It's not much you could say, right? And then of course Chiefs Kingdom, you know, Taylor Swift was in the building, so the energy was just high all throughout GEHA Field. And just it was just a disaster. I mean, I'm telling you, I was just watching the game earlier today. It was an absolute disaster. Like, we go out, we get DJ Moore. It was a masterful, draft day move, right? Hands down, right? Trade our number one pick for a certified number one receiver. But, it just feels like all teams are doing are putting their best corners on them, right? They go up against the Bucks, you put one of the better corners. They got two good corners out there, right? You go up against the Packers, you put Jair on them. You just take him out the game, right? He's not getting nearly enough targets, right? And I'm just not understanding, like, why we go out and get this dude. And I'm not saying we gotta force feed him, but like, my goodness, he's only getting like two. I think he's not gotten more than 3 catches in a game. He has like 6 catches in 3 games, right? Enough about the Bears. Let's talk about the Huskies, right? You guys know me. I'm a college football fan. I love NIU. I'm always making my prospects from NIU, right? I got a chance to watch the season opener for the Huskies, right? We beat the Boston College Eagles. The ACC network guys was talking about some, oh, yeah, you guys are going to live thinking we were going to lose, right? They had to say that, right? Because their ACC network, hired heads, right? So they got to, beef up the ACC. But then we win. And I felt that the Huskies did get a little bit of assistance from the Zebras in that Boston College game, but we pulled it out. And Boston College is not a very bad team, right? They gave Florida State a run for their money, right? So, but we haven't won any other games after that. We're 1-3, right? Look, moving to the playoffs. We're gonna come back to NIU. Moving to the playoffs, right? Cowboys, Ravens, right? The Eagles and the Chiefs were the NFC and AFC second seeds respectively, right? And they were ousted in the first round, right? Cowboys, Ravens, and the Ravens win. The Ravens beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl by 6 points. Big Roquan, MVP, Big Lamar Jackson gets him one. So that's interesting, right? The Ravens get a Super Bowl. Very interesting. I mean, clearly it's possible for a scrambling quarterback to get it done, right? Right. Retirements. I had to I had to run through a couple simulations to get this to look like this, right? Where nobody on teams retired, right? Only guys that retired were in the free agent pool. And obviously there are a couple of guys here that actually in real life aren't retired, might get re-signed. Obviously Jason Peters, right? Because we had the rosters, and the rosters we were using were the 53 final cut rosters going into this franchise, right? We did make the adjustments at the beginning of the next season because we put a lot of thought and time into this, right? So we did do some roster workarounds, right? Because as you can see, it's like a ton of guys on the game that either aren't in the league, or I don't know. It's like the free agent pool is not the same as it is in the NFL, right? And I tried my hardest to get as many guys in there. I know that's kind of weird, but it's like over 70 guys for most teams in the NFL right now. A lot of guys are on the IR. I tried to get as many guys as I could injured. I even went as far as to put guys down to 1 injury rating and running through multiple simulators. Like, a lot of the reason why this video took me so long to get out was because I was running through these simulations multiple times, and this is the best I could do. So moving forward, I'm not going to show you the practice squads, but we're just going to get the best 65 guys, including all the rookies from this draft class. Right, just get the best 65 guys, going to turn injuries off in the preseason, and just start cutting guys, right? Like, whatever. Uh, the contracts. I put everybody's contract on a 7-year deal. Right? I'm trying to keep the same. I want to be playing basically Madden 24 throughout my entire franchise, right? So if you get drafted or on a specific team, you're gonna retire there. Now we have a pay scale, pay grade situation, right? Like an 80 overall is like 6 mil, 77 to 79 is 5 mil, 76 4, 75 3. If you're a starter under 75, you get 2 mil, right? But from 80 overall, 6 mil, you add a mil per overall point, you get to 94 overall, that's 20 mil, right? And then after 94 overall, you can name your price, right? Now, negotiations are ongoing, right? Nobody's stuck. Obviously, we'll be looking to see what people's overall ratings are. As you get better, you get more money. The salary, league-wide salary cap increases. We'll be looking to pay guys more money. And it's all about the team's cap situation. As you can see here, Josh Jacobs, he's the highest overall running back on the game, making 30 mil, right? We're going to pay the running backs. We're going to pay you if you're one of the better players on the game and on your team, right? But it does depend on your team's cap situation, right? A team like the Rams, right? Not a lot of talent, tons of depth, stockpiled on assets, but enough to where when adhering to this pay scale, even though Aaron Donald, Cooper, because they're not the best players at their position, but they're clearly top guys, and they get paid as such because they're on a team where not only are they the best guys, but the cap situation when adhering to the pay scale or the pay grade would work so that they can make 40 mil. And then mind you, we're not taking into account the adjusted cap, right? Next season, the league-wide salary cap is going to go up to like 265. So we're trying to stay under that, and we'll pay guys. It's all about the team's cap situation, right? Some teams have less talent and can afford to pay their guys tons of money, their top guys a ton of money, right? Some teams might not be as fortunate, right? So it's not necessarily about, oh, I'm the best player at my position. It's about, well, let me look at my team's cap situation. We're not going to be doing rookie deals, right? Like, for instance, the Ravens, right here, right? Ton of talent on this team, right? Adhering to the pay scale, you got to keep guys, the top guys at 20 mil, right? Looking at that adjusted cap versus the actual total spending, right? Next year's salary cap, because you see all the contracts on those fixed rates. I use the bonus tab to make all the contracts fixed rates, right? And with next year's salary cap going up to only like 260 or so, we'd be over the cap. So we're gonna have to adjust some people's cap. We might get like 5 or so million in rollover cap, so we might be fine, but that still wouldn't be enough, right? 265 plus 5 is 2, so we would still have to bring some guys down, right? Now, the standard going rate for a quarterback on the NFL is pretty high, starting quarterback, right? We did put mostly all the starting QBs at 20 mil. I would have tried to give Lamar more money, but obviously, he's in one of those situations like the Niners, right? Where, got a ton of talent. So it's very hard to pay your top guys more than 20 mil. We didn't pay Brock Purdy 20 mil, right? Obviously, like I said, all the starting quarterbacks are getting like 20 mil because it's the hard job. You stand in there and take hits, right? But Brock Purdy, we giving him 50 mil. He could stand and make less money. Because, I mean, when you have Christian McCaffrey, when you have Kyle Hughes, when you have Debo, when you have Ayuk, when you have George Kittle, when you have the best blindside protector in the league, and you're Brock Purdy. That's why they had you got the best, one of the best defenses in the league. Or you're Brock Purdy, you're 7th round draft pick. That's the reason why they drafted him there. It's the reason why they had Garoppolo, because all they wanted to do was get a veteran or a young guy like the Bulldogs, right? Your team is so good you can put anybody, you can put a walk-on or a 7th round pick back there at quarterback and still be a playoff contending team because you have so many weapons around him. So some teams, with all the talent teams like the Eagles in them, we just had to start paying, and we gotta wait until we get that league-wide salary cap up there. Then we'll try to start paying guys more money, right? Season's over, right? CJ Stroud, fantastic year his first season, franchise QB award winner, right? But back to what I was saying about the cap, right? We want to eventually get the salary cap. It will get up to 303 mil, and that's when we want to start paying guys who are 80 overall 11 mil, right? So it's a big pay jump when we get there, right? But back to the Texans, right? We moved the Texans to Austin, right? We moved the Cowboys to OKC. new city, new quarterback, and the only team throughout the state that the Texas fans can root for, and fittingly, right? Austin, Texas, capital city, like Austin, Texas, right? They got a quarterback, they got a running back, receiving core is pretty good, and they're playing pretty well here in Texas, right? Dalton Schultz, pretty good receiving year for him at tight end, right? Right. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, rookie quarterback. Remember, right? We turned the injuries off, right? He has a fantastic year as well, right? Franchise QB award winner, right? Over 4,000 yards, 40 something touchdowns, teens in the picks, but it doesn't matter when you throw that many touchdowns. It's fantastic numbers for Big Bryce Young, right? Miles Sanders, over 1,000 yards rushing, right? Proving that he is among the top tier in the running backs in this league, right? Maybe somewhere in that Alvin Kamara world, right? You know what I'm saying? Not as highly overall, but clearly a great scheme fit, right? Adam Thielen, probably the best numbers he's ever put up in his career. Might have something to do with the fact that we turned him to a 20-year-old to prevent him from retiring. I mean, I don't know, right? And, like I said, we wanted to squeeze another season out of these guys. We're not going to let guys retire this year, right? We're trying to do our best to keep guys in the league so that we can keep the rosters as they are. DJ Chark Jr., right? I don't know, right? Maybe he's buried on the depth chart or something. He has a lot of potential, but hasn't really came into his own yet, right? Anthony Richardson, the other top rookie quarterback who was pegged to be the starter. Right now, his guys were injured, right? Jonathan Taylor, it's incidental. I didn't force this, but he's on the IR, right? Michael Pittman Jr. is number one receiver. He's on the IR, right? Zach Moss was able to rush for over 1,000 yards, right? But Anthony Richardson kind of had his hands tied on. He was handcuffed a little bit, right? So he probably could have done a lot better if he had all his weapons available to him. And we will make sure moving forward in the next season, he will in fact have all his weapons available to him. But still, he made do with what he had, right? Still had close to 1,000 yards in one of his receivers, right? Obviously, the second string back, rushing for 1,000 yards. That is pretty solid, pretty good production. And Anthony Richardson has a lot of upside, right? Maybe not the most efficiency or the way you want it to be for his first, but still a lot of upside there, right? Right. Buccaneers, right? We're talking about Baker, right? Baker in this universe, he threw for the most passing yards amongst all quarterbacks, right? Really good on his touchdown numbers, 37, right? That's close to 40. So you can excuse the interception numbers, right? Again, not a big run game to try to, talk about. So it was running back by committee. Baker chipped in, two-headed monster, so to speak, in the running back game, right? Mostly speed guys, not really a power types, mostly speed, get to the edge type guys, elusive more than receiving type backs, right? Receiving core for the Bucks, right? He's got two fantastic guys, and look at that, right? Three guys get over 1,000 yards. Excuse me, as I'm adjusting my microphone here, but Chris Godwin with over 1,600 yards receiving. Mike Evans over 1,000 yards. Russell Gage Jr. over 1,000. Cade Otton close to that. Basically, four 1,000-yard receivers with Baker Mayfield as your quarterback, right? Like, it's as clear as day. You get the weapons around an NFL caliber quarterback like Baker. He's probably one of those top 64 guys. Bridge player, can easily be transitioned into a backup role, but can still get it done for you, right? But yeah, back to the Huskies, man. Back to college football in general, right? I knew the party was over when I watched that SIU game. The 5'6", 176-pound SIU running back ran over one of our guys. I knew this was going to be a bad year. I knew we were getting tons of help from the refs, and we probably shouldn't have won that Boston College. We should probably be 0-4 right now, the Huskies. Right? Watched the Nebraska game, watched the Tulsa game. That was upsetting, right? To see us throw that pick at the last second. We were about to drive, right? Clearly, they don't trust Lombardi no more. So it's a situation in right? But I'm not feeling what's going on in college football. I do like that they are getting rid of the Pac-12. The Mountain West should dissolve that conference. I like that, right? The Pac-12 ain't never been nothing But the USC conference, for them to beat up on teams and play the champion of the Big Ten in the Rose Bowl, which is why both conferences in that bowl game were founded. They're the oldest, institutions in college football sports right now, right? In terms of, those two traditions, right? But it's a good thing. It's actually kind of historic even that USC is now going to the Big Ten, getting chased out of there by Utah, who again this season was a favorite to beat Florida and beat them this time, right? Crazy, right? Utah going to the big, they did their job, right? They disrupted the culture of the Pac-12, and it needed to be disrupted. And honestly, we need to get rid of one more conference, right? I would have liked it for them to go to 8 conferences, right? And the conference that probably should be gotten rid of is the MAC, right? Or, maybe the American or CUSA. It's 3 teams that have like America somewhere in their name. Conference, United States of America, American Athletic, Mid-Americans. Like, dissolve those 3 conferences into 2, or just get rid of the MAC, right? Because when I was watching the Huskies play SIU, the broadcast crew was for the Ohio Valley Conference, which is an FCS conference. So the MAC doesn't have a network. I don't think the American, maybe the American, I think the American has a network. I know the Mountain West has a network. I believe the Sun Belt has a network. I'm not sure if the CUSA or the MAC have a network, right? But I would have liked for them to get it to 8 conferences, pick the conference champions out of each conference, right? Get rid of the divisions, right? Pick the conference champion out of each conference. And then you got the New Year's 6, let the top 8 teams duke it out. The winners of those games, the top 4 teams in the last 2 games of the New Year's 6, your 14 playoff, the 2 teams that win those games, national title. But I get why they're doing the 12-team playoff expansion. I don't like it, but I kind of understand it, right? And they're trying to say, which is the age-old argument that has been a part of college football for years now. Don't put these small programs in the big game. They're just going to get trampled over by a team that either, is too good, they have no business playing, like how they say with TCU, but that's no fault of TCU, right? Sometimes a team at those levels is just so good, and it's indicative in the fact that they had, like I was saying with Brock Purse, like, you got a walk-on at quarterback, and you're beating, like the season opener last year for the Bulldogs, they beat Oregon 49-3, and Oregon is a good team. So it's just as clear as day. Georgia was just that good. They were going to do that to anybody. The only game they had a problem with last year was Missouri and South Carolina. That's it. Every other team, they ran through them. So it's as clear as day, right? When you're just that good, you're just that good. So it shouldn't matter what conference you come from. You should get the opportunity to play in the big game. So they're expanding it to 12 teams because they're trying to give teams from the Power 4 now, the second ranked teams, or the teams that made it to the number 2 spot after the conference championship game, trying to give them a chance. It's like, look, you're from a group of 4, right, conference, right, with the way that I say it should be, right? If you're from a group of 4 conference, if you can beat the second best team in a Power 4 conference in an expanded 12-team playoff, then you can prove to us, okay, you at least deserve a shot, right? Because it kind of makes sense, right? Like, you go through the MAC, right? If it was the way how I said it, right, 2 years ago, the conference champion was the Huskies, they would have been in the playoff. If it would have been the way how I said it, the conference champions make the top 8 spots, right? And I mean, come on, right? Would they have really been? No, probably would have gotten kicked out in the first round. It would have just been a team from the Power 4 in the last 4 games anyway, right? It would have just been the Power 4 duking it out against each other anyway. So it makes sense that they're doing the 12 team. They're expanding it to 12 teams so that they can give other Power 4 teams a chance to, well, you didn't win your conference title, or you weren't I just don't like that it might be the 3rd ranked team in the conference getting bumped up to number 2, and all because the 2nd ranked team lost, right? You know what I'm saying? Or the 1st ranked team lost. You weren't good enough to get the 2nd spot, but because the 1st or 2nd team lost, now you get an opportunity to play again. Or maybe the expansion of 12 teams is to supplement other teams. I don't know. I do think that it's basically just a ploy to try and get more Power Four teams in there and keep group of four teams or smaller conference teams out. That's always kind of been the agenda in college football, right? Keep the small team because they're not gonna sell tickets, right? That's just how they feel, right? Cowboys are back in the Super Bowl, right? And the Chiefs are here now. Cowboys, back-to-back seasons going to the Super Bowl. They are considered the best team in the league right now. But the Chiefs, they win it, right? And clearly the Chiefs are the best team in the league, indicative of that performance they had against the Bears. How the Lions beat the Chiefs, but the Bears can't get. I'm done talking about it, right? We're gonna squeeze yet another season out of guys that are on team. This is the last season, right? After this, we're gonna let guys retire, right? This season we wanted to play because we simulated the first two seasons. We're going to play this next season, right? We're gonna pick our team, right? But we're just trying to squeeze another. This is the last season. After this, guy's gonna retire, except for Aaron Rodgers, right? He's already verbally committed that he's going to play another 5 seasons. So we're gonna keep him in the league, right? You count this season, this will be the first of 5 seasons for him, right? And then he can retire after that, right? The rookies. Moving forward, every rookie coming in, because we don't have a 2020, we're not doing that, right? From this point forward, every rookie coming in is only going to be 170 overall guy. It's going to be a fullback. Every rookie after that is going to have a normal depth trait, and it's going to be a 67 overall or lower. Kind of like how the older, like Madden 04 was, right? Instead of rookies coming in ready to take somebody's right, because now it's going to force teams to have to work with the talent that they have. Right, I think that happens way too often, right? It's just every single time the guy don't do well. That's why I fear for Justin, right? He don't have a good season this year. It's like when you draft a quarterback in the first round and ask him to play right away, you have to give him 5 seasons. So kudos to the Browns, right, for doing it with Baker. But you can't draft a guy in the first round, he don't get it done in the first 3 years and then just be done with him, right? That's not fair, right? We picked our team. It's going to be the Cardinals. I know it's kind of redundant. We've used them before. I want to use them again. They're not bad, but it's too much talk of tanking, right? First order of business, right? Because this team needs help. First order of business, move the team, right? You know where. City of Chicago, right? The original Chicago team. The Bears were founded in Decatur as the Staleys. They moved to Chicago and renamed as the Bears. But the original Chicago founding team was the Cards. We're going to move them back. And yeah, man, next order of business, time to blow up the team, right? I know, like I said, this team wasn't really bad with D-Hop. They didn't play up to expectations. A lot of talk of tanking, right, for Caleb Williams. The real Cardinals don't like that, right? But we're going to just blow it up, right? The first order of business in that regard is getting rid of the best player on the team, Budda Baker. This guy had a very good time playing on the same team as him when I was doing my face of the franchise. He's a fantastic safety, run support guy, knocks the ball out real well, right? We're not just gonna cut him though, right? We're gonna trade him to Tampa Bay, or now Mexico City Buccaneers in our universe, right? Reunite him with his high school and college teammate Vita Vea and shore up the Bucs secondary, right? Jalen Thompson, right? He's really good, right? Second best safety on the team, can play either safety position and can also play a little bit of corner, right? Don't want to just cut him though, right? As well as Rondale Moore, right? The 5'7" goblin, right? Speedster, more of a receiving back than a wideout, right? They use him as a handoff type guy, right? Went to Purdue, right? He's got good speed and he's actually pretty good with the hands, right? We're going to trade him and Thompson to the Colts for their first round pick. Rondale Moore gets to go back to his hometown or from back to Indiana, right? And do it like that, right? Kyler Murray, right? They keep talking about their tanking, right? He was good in college, right? Won the Heisman, right? The Kyler Murray experience it's no longer Arizona, Chicago, right? He's not our quarterback anymore. Kyler Murray experience is over, right? Him and his wide receiver from college, Marquise Hollywood Brown, right? More of a slot guy than a number one guy, right? He had some good years in Baltimore, right? We're going to send him and Kyler to Seattle, right? Geno's regressing a little bit, right? Now Marquise can be a slot receiver instead of a number one guy. We'll play them twice a year, right? Zaven Collins, right? Budding superstar. Don't let the overall fool you, right? This guy at Tulsa, he won the Nagurski, the Bednarik, and the Lombardi Trophy. Right, the dude is an absolute dog. He's 260. He has the size to be a right outside backer, edge rusher, or a defensive end in a 4-3 scheme. But he also has the pass coverage primary archetype, so he can play middle backer, and with all that size, he can play left outside. He's so versatile. He's not a chess piece you want to part ways with, right? But I feel like it'd just be a service to him to give him a chance to play with a contender. We're going to send him to Tennessee, reunite him with his college teammate Travis Gibson, another budding superstar who's playing linebacker on his team. He's not starting Gibson, but just give them that chance, right, to play together, right? Beecham and Humphreys. We're going to send them to Buffalo. Not sure if they're going to stay on the team, right? Buffalo's cap situation is dire, right? James Conner, right? Good undrafted running back, has tremendous size, good on the blitz pickup, power guy, can block and all that. We're gonna trade him to Dublin, right? Help shore up their backfield, right? Everybody else, gotta let him walk. Gotta cut him, right? Don't really want to do it, especially a guy like Cameron Thomas, Greg Dortch, right? But hey, injuries will be turned on, so there's still a chance that they might pick these guys. It would have been like that for the top guys, but I just wanted to put them in good situations. And yeah, these guys could still probably get picked up, right? We have a slew of draft picks. We have 25, right? I don't know if you can do that in real. I think you can, right? Like you can have like maybe like 12 plus like the compensatory picks where like guys on your staff got hired to like coaching positions, head coaching positions on like other staffs. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not sure if you can. I know on the older man you can't have more than 10 picks, but we have 25. Not necessarily in the 25 order. We tried to get it in order, but at some point there's like, nah, you can't keep trading picks. You got 25. You got to keep 25 picks. So we have 25 picks, and you guys know me, right? Draft day is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, right? And again, you guys know me. I love NIU. We're picking guys from NIU, right? 20-year-old guys, young guys, right? We got Bozeman, right? You know what I'm saying? He's a 270-pound guy. We got a couple guys like this, right? Got McDowell, right? I would have used guys that are actually at NIU, but I was like, nah, we're not gonna do that, right? I mean, we could have, right? I probably should have. I was like, nah, I don't want to use nobody from NIU. I'm just gonna create guys, right? This guy Jacoby, right? He's 280 pounds as a linebacker, right? Because I'm not certain if I want to go with a hard 4-3 and just make him a defensive end. We will make him a DN, or if I want to go with a 3-4. It depends on if we get a guy who emerge on the offensive end. Otherwise, if we're just more offense by committee, right, then we'll, try to have 4-star linebackers, right? You know what I'm saying? We're going to have the size on the D line, right, with Harvin, Rush, right? Tons of size, 6'7", 350, right? Both of them big. You guys know me, right? I want size and speed on that defensive line. I'll sacrifice strength, I'll sacrifice skill, all that for size and speed on the defensive line, right? But I don't know if there's going to be a guy that emerges on offense, right? Because everybody's overall rating is going to be less than a 60 overall coming in, right? Looking at our offensive line, right? They're going to be small, right? Everybody's going to have higher than normal depth trait, right? We got a couple smaller guys, right? Agile guys, right? 270-ish, right? Our D-line is huge. Our O-line is quicker, right? Because with these bigger O-linemen, you put these smaller, quicker pass rushers out there, they out-quick some of these guys, just tee off on them, not on us, right? We're going to have agile guys keep up with you pass rushers, right? You know what I'm saying? 290-pound guys, and the rest of our guys are going to be like 270-ish, right? Big Dalvin, right? We're going to probably ask him to lose a little bit of weight. 299 is great. We might ask him to lose a few more pounds. Get him like 292, right? Kyrus Brown, our tight end, right? More of a big receiver type, right? A vertical threat, not really a tight end. He's more of a big receiver with a lot of speed, right? Big Justin Corona, aka Bad Bunny, right? Who don't like those, right? Not that Corona, the other Corona, the drink. I'm saying get 21 older, right? Drink responsibly, right? Big Tyson Waddell, right? He's 5'11". He's more of a fullback. We won't really have a fullback, but we'll have a tight end who can play fullback. All our tight ends can play fullback, right? Big Javier Winters, a Burris, Cole, and Herb. You know what I'm saying? Big playmaking receiver, right? Mark Johnson, MJ, right? We're going to have a ton of speed at the receiving position, right? Not a lot of skill, but a ton of speed, right? Big Michael Townsend, right? Nobody's gonna be really big or tall, right? We'll let the tight ends be there, but we don't really have a guy who's like 6'2" or taller. We got a 6'1" guy. We don't have a guy who's like 6'2" or taller, right? Rosenthal, he's gonna be more of a scat back, receiving back, right? Big James Silas, right? Says receiving back, but all that size, you already know. He's thing one, and this is thing two, right? Just power backs, right? Just up the gut at you, right? None of that. We got a speed guy, right? Our long snapper, right there. But we got a speed guy, but our running backs are gonna be power guys, right? Big Tremaine, right? Bigger corner who will actually be using as a safety in our base defense, right? Deshaun Lindley, 170 pounds soaking wet, right? And then Artis Gordon, right? Again, another safety type who we'll use in our base defense, right? We didn't have enough draft picks, so we had to sign Jeremiah Posey as an undrafted free agent, right? Big homie, right? A corner for sure, right? Tyson Pryor, our kicker, right? Undrafted free agent we had to sign after the draft. As you can see, right? The overalls are low. 50 overall, right? Stan Kirkpatrick, right? Overalls will be low coming in. Again, normal dev traits, right? We're going to have to ball out. Now, with all this youth, we're going to have some. You guys know me. I love putting tons of youth with experience. And mind you, these are the more highlighted veterans, right? Tommy Lee Lewis, a Northern Illinois grad, right? 5'7", 168. Not necessarily a goblin, but he's certainly a mighty mini, rocking number 89 like he ride Tidwell. I mean, don't have the mentor tag just yet, but he's going to be sort of the elder statesman in the receiving corps. Might get some chances to get out there and get some touches, right? Chad Beebe, another Northern Illinois grad, right? Son of Don Beebe, the Buffalo Bills special teams legend, right? And that's his number. Don Beebe's number is 83. Chad, that's his number, right? He chose that number, right? I didn't tell him, no, he wants to wear that number. Obviously, he understands the mission, the qualities have been instilled in him, right? We're going to ask Chad to play free safety, right? So now he can fulfill that special teams legend moniker, the reputation, if you will. He'll also be playing defense back there in our dime defense, when it's like a prevent sort of defense. And yes, he will be wearing number 83, not changing, right? Christian Blake, another Northern Illinois free agent grad, right? That's his number, 21. He wears number 21, right? We didn't ask him to wear that. That's the number he wants to wear, right? We're going to ask him to play strong safety. Now, Don Beebe is going to be our primary nickel and dime safety, but Blake is mostly going to come in the dime and strong safety, right? Kenny Galladay, a guy who's had a couple of issues with injuries, we're going to play him at the backup quarterback spot, right? We're not going to ask him to play wide up. We're going to play him at backup quarterback, right? Our other free agent signings, right? Big Square, right? Linval, Joseph, all these guys have the mentor tag, right? And it's weird because we're going to be signing, instead of depleting guys, we're just going to sign out of position guys, right? So these D linemen that you see we signing, right? We have 5-0 linemen. We have a long snapper who will be our backup center, right? These D linemen will be backup offensive linemen. And most all these D linemen have good impact blocking, right? And then these offensive linemen that we're signing, who have the mentor tag, right? They're going to be backup defensive linemen, right? It's just so that the rookies are the de facto best players on the team, right? And they have a mentor who understands how to defend good defensive players. So yeah, I guess it might translate, right? Maybe not, right? Again, it's not because we want to have guys. We don't want to bring in competition at the backup spot. We just want mentors back there sitting behind these young guys, right? These two guys here, they'll be playing linebacker, right? These tight ends, they'll be playing like that. Running back will be playing linebacker. Damian Williams, again, mentor tag, right? Playing linebacker, right? Big Griffin playing linebacker, right? Big Cameron Brake, right? Again, so that we don't have to have any competition. We know who our starters are. We know who our backups are, right? Big Hearns, we're going to ask him to play backup free safety when we go to dime and stuff like that. This guy with Watkins, right? They will also be playing special teams for us too, right? Right. And yeah, man, that's your boy, right? He has the mentor tag. Doesn't really look like me, right? But I wanted that short hair flowing out the helmet, right? I didn't make him a rookie. 30-year-old, 10-year vet going into his 11th season. Kind of similar to my story, right? He moved to Atlanta, right? And he never played quarterback in high school. He kind of didn't play any high school football after he stopped playing in Atlanta, right? Graduated from high school early, in 2012, of January of 2012, and ended up going to college sooner. Didn't get a scholarship, so he was a walk-on. But he was going to school year round. He enrolled in that semester in January of 2012 after graduating from high school. Finished his freshman year. By the time the season started, he was academically a sophomore. He graduated, or basically finished his education by his sophomore year eligibility, right? So, he never got a chance to play. He was redshirted his true freshman year athletically, right? And in his redshirt freshman year, academic sophomore, basically academic senior year, he never got a chance to play. So he said, forget it. He sat out, or just, got his education in the year 2014, graduated from college after going to school for 2 years year round. Sat out, didn't play no more football at college, knew he wasn't gonna get a fair shake, and decided to just report to a training camp, right? In 2015, January 2015, he started going out looking for a training camp, playing a little bit of semi-pro, CFL and all that, right? 3 years removed from his last college game, and has ever since been bouncing around from practice squad to practice squad, right? Came in at 20 years old in the year 2015, right? Has been trying his hardest to get into a team, get on a regular roster. He's had some success with practice squads. He's never been a third string guy, never gotten a chance to play in a live game, right? Has been bouncing, like I said, bouncing around from practice squad to Bears practice squad, bounced around to the Colts practice squad for a few seasons, right? Played with the Chiefs practice squad prior to the Patrick Mahomes era, right? Got family in Atlanta. Moved down there, reported to their training camp, got a practice squad spot there for a few days, right? Has bounced around a little bit in the XFL. Again, has family in Toronto. Played a little bit in the, not played, but had a chance to be on a CFL, right? He's seen a lot of different systems, right? He's been around a lot of different football environments, trying to turn him into a Rich Gannon, right? A Geno Smith, a guy who's never really gotten a fair shake or played like that, but is now a veteran and still has a little bit of meat left on the bone, right? Looks good, right? Not a rookie, but doesn't have all the wear and tear that a veteran has, right? And he's not the best player, right? We saw his overall rating, right? Because I'm not going to come in talking about I'm real good or nothing like that. Right now, we thinking short passes, but right there, and there's no defense on the field, he shows a decent amount of accuracy in the long ball, decent amount of accuracy in the mid to medium range throws, right? I mean, I don't know. So far, he looks good. Right? We all know his father. Right? His dad is a financial mogul. The owner of the team decided to move the team. Has taken a passive role in his son's career, mostly the GM and the owner of the team. But now he's going to assume the head coaching roles of the team, right? So the owner, the GM, the head coach, so president of football operations, if you will, right? Getting his Jim or his Paul Brown on, right? And yeah, man, the team has been catered around the son, like how it's going to be like a Shador and Deion Sanders situation, dad coaching, son playing at the tail end of his career. I'm excited, right? Because everybody's not good. So it's all about us playing great defense. I'm just, we can't hold the offense too accountable. We're just going to have to play great defense, and whatever we get from the offense is going to be fantastic, man, right? But the next video is going to be the start of the season. We'll have the preseason done for you. I'm going to get up out of here, get at me, and function with your boy.